Namaste, Hare Krishna. Hello. Today we're doing a book review on Ganesha, Loving Ganesha, Hinduism's endearing elephant-headed god. I think you can see it. I don't know. And this is the back. This is Sadhguru Shivaya Subramanya Swami, who's the author of the book, and he's the guru of the Himalayan Academy, or the Kauai Monastery. They're a Shaivite group that's based out of Kauai, Hawaii. So if you're ever in Hawaii, they have a beautiful temple you should totally go and see. Very nice. I haven't been myself yet, but I have a few lady friends who are disciples of them. They introduced me to Himalayan Academy, and they have a beautiful temple out there. So let's see where to begin with the book. It's a pretty big book, but it shouldn't be intimidating, because I find that all the literature by Himalayan Academy is always condensed in such a way that everything is like very bite-sized and like very digestible, very easy to comprehend. So even though this is a big book, like there's so many pictures and like symbols and like different spacing in different parts, like it's not that intimidating, and it's very, very easy to go through. One of the things that I really love about these books, or any even their magazines, they have I think it's like a quarterly magazine that goes out as Hinduism Today. I need to renew my membership. I keep getting their renewal things in the mail, so I need to renew the magazines. But their magazines are really beautiful. They always have really great work. But all their books have really nice art as well. But I didn't know that some books are black and white editions, and then some books are color editions. So I happen to have a color edition. Now that I know that there's a black and white edition, now that I know that there's a color edition, I really wish I had it, because there's just so many pretty pictures in here. Let me see. Like there's one of Ganesha. Let's see. That's a cute one. I don't know if you can see that one. So there's a lot of, really pretty art, many pictures throughout the book, and I'm sure that the color edition is much more interesting, much prettier to look at. I mean, this is great. All the info is there, but things like this, like all those different forms of Ganesha, like I would have loved to see that in color. So if you do get this book, make sure you get the color edition. Anything you would really need to know or want to know about Ganesh, it's probably in here. It's very, very thorough, and it's explanation of who Ganesha is and his different forms and his different like weapons or things he holds in his hands, or the symbology. So one of the things that this book does is it really aids in creating a sense of religious iconographic like literacy. I don't know if that makes sense. Like so Hindu iconography, or Catholic iconography, or like Orthodox iconography, it's deeply symbolic, and it's been developed over hundreds, if not thousands of years, to convey specific things, very specific things, and specific lessons and values and virtues and those sort of things. So when a saint is holding their hand a certain way, or if a deity is, doing a certain mudra or something like that, or if they're holding something in their hand in a particular manner, that all has meaning. And a lot of understanding and literacy with religious symbolism and iconography is lost today. A lot of young people, especially, don't have any sort of understanding of religious iconography. But this book does a really beautiful way of taking it, things you never even would have thought of, and like, hey, look at this, look at the wisdom that's hidden here, and then the message that's hidden here, and the life lesson that's hidden over here. It's really cool. You learn so much. It's a very enriching process. And one of the cool things about this book that I really appreciate, and I didn't know before, I knew there were many forms of Ganesha, but I didn't know like where that came from, and that I think comes from the Agamas. But there's traditionally 32 forms of Ganesha, and he'll be like pictured differently, standing or sitting, or sometimes he'll have 2 hands, sometimes 4 hands, sometimes 10 hands. Sometimes he'll be on his mouth, sometimes he'll be on a lion. And these different forms of Ganesha have different symbolism. They have different meaning. And when we work or focus on or put our faith or worship towards a specific form of Ganesha, that will yield certain results and activate those certain principles in us as well. So it's very pretty. And again, I wish I had the color version, because they have every form of Ganesha here, the 32 forms, and they have, the Sanskrit, how it looks in Sanskrit writing, and then they have the English, how you pronounce it, and then at the bottom there is a little description about what this Ganesha symbolizes and what you would pray to this Ganesha for. So I thought that was really cool. I did not know about that prior to getting this book. There's also another sizable section on sacred symbols and sacred symbolism. Don't know if you can see that. Sorry, I need to get a new camera and mic situation, so I do apologize. But there's all these common symbols that you'll see not only with Ganesha, but all throughout Hinduism. You'll see the conch shell, which, let's see. Yeah, the conch shell, the chakra. What else do they have? The vajra, or like the lightning bolts, the goad or the gada, the lotus flowers. They just have all these different symbols. The crescent moon, the water pot, mango leaves, his little mouse, Mushika. So there's a pretty good section on just different symbols and what they represent and what they mean. And then there's also another section on, this was really interesting, on the Ganesha Murtis, and like if they have their hand up like this, or if they have it down like this, or if his knee is up and his foot is down, or if he has his feet towards you, or or if his trunk is facing this way versus that way. See, all these things have like deep symbolism and deep meaning. It's very interesting. And it'll tell you, this Ganesha, if you see it like this, it represents this. If he's in this pose, it represents this. One of the things that another thing I really appreciate is that if you're not familiar with Hinduism, in Hinduism there is a tradition of deity ashtotras, which are like reciting the epithets. I think in Catholicism there are prayers where you recall the epithets of Mary or something, or of Jesus, and it's just like these different titles or different characteristics or representations of them. Very similar in Hinduism. All the deities will have an ashtotra or section of prayer of 108 of their names. And sometimes there'll be like different qualities or characteristics or powers. So for Krishna, there's Krishna's 108 names, Durga's 108 names, and here they have listed Ganesha's 108 names. Now, what I really appreciate about this is that they have not only the Sanskrit and the English, how to say it, I don't know if you can see it there, but they also have the English translation of what his name actually means. And this is very important because Sanskrit chanting is very powerful, whether you understand it or not. The vibrations are very powerful. They work on an energetic level. But when you take your chanting and add, the understanding of the meaning of his names, it's very powerful. So I really appreciate that through every 108 name here, they went ahead and gave a very nice and accurate definition of his different names. They also have a section on how to do Ganesha Puja each day, like a small daily Nitya Puja. They have a section with all of the different Ganesha prayers, like some of the basic ones, like basic mantras like Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, or the Gayatri Ekarantaya Vitmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dhandif Prachodayat, or some of a couple of artis and songs as well. If you can read music, they even have some sheet music in here of how to play the song. So if you want to play along on piano or harmoniums or something, you can do it. There's a sizable section of nice, just like stories, and also Tamil poetry. Very pretty. I don't think I was too familiar with any Tamil poetry or literature, anything, before this book, besides maybe one thing. I can't remember what it's called in English, actually, but it's, oh, goodness. It's lost upon me. But anyways, this was, I'll remember it later, this was one of my first introductions to certain Tamil poetry and certain Tamil saints. Oh, it's so beautiful, very deep, very profound. Let's see. There is also a section at the end, if you are interested in becoming a Hindu. There's a section on, like, what does that mean? What does it mean to be a Hindu? What does it mean to live as a Hindu? And Himalayan Academy has their own actual, like, catechism process if you want to go through it to become a certified, like, Shaivite Hindu. They have a great process, and I made another video on one of their catechism, Hindu catechism books, Dancing with Shiva, which is great. I highly recommend it. But if you want to know about Ganesha, I highly recommend this. This is great for anybody. I can't remember if I said this, but if you're a Hindu, you're born Hindu or Indian, you're familiar with Indian culture and Hinduism, you'll still learn a lot from this. Or if you don't know anything about Hinduism, Indian culture, Vedic philosophy, nothing about that, but you're just interested in Ganesh, this is a most lovely book, so highly recommend it. Again, if you get a copy, make sure you get the color copy, because you really want to be able to appreciate all the pretty art in the book and all those illustrations, okay? Alright, well, that's all for now. Take care, you guys, and stay safe, be happy. Hare Krishna.